All right. How's it going? I know the lighting's always weird in the daytime, but I look like an angel, so we'll keep it. Um, a lot's happened. A lot is happening. And a lot has happened um, in the time that I didn't journal. I'm not really sure what I said the last time, but I hadn't processed everything really. But my vibration is back to normal. What I mean by that is life is flowing effortlessly. Like I just got off the phone. I got like a big dealership contract. I got it back actually. Um, and earlier this week, I did a big YouTube video for a big YouTuber. He has like 2 million subscribers on YouTube. So, um, like work and everything is just this is this is when someone's and oh, interestingly enough, I got a text from a friend who's a therapist. She went across the world to study more or whatever. She's having money problems, and she texted me out of the blue to ask me how I'm doing. I'm like, "What's up? Like, everything okay?" She said her intuition said to reach out. I was like, "Okay." So like, what's up? What do you need? And she's talking about like having trouble with money, and this is something that obviously I have knowledge of because I grew up poor. I worked and made no money, and then I worked and made a lot of money, and then lost a lot of money, and then made a lot of money. And I've learned a lot in that time, and I've tried everything essentially to use my lose my fear of it. Um, and then of course, if it was just me, how reliable is my information? You know what I mean? But the things that I've learned, it's not just I don't just learn from my experience. I learn from the people who taught it before me. So when I tell someone something, it's not just this is what I think. It's like this is what I've learned. This is what I've experienced. This is what I know. It'll be interesting to see like unconscious people push back really hard. It's like someone told me it's crazy that I said like when they're not making money to work on their energy and their energy fucking sucks. It's the worst energy I've ever been around in my life actually. Actually, like not I can't over exaggerate enough for it to be accurate. So I was telling my friend, I was like, there's this energy. It says like in spiritual books, even in the Quran, it says like it's written in the stars, like your abundance is promised. So what are you doing to block it? And then in the case of the person who's unconscious, they're doing everything you can imagine to betray themselves, to harm their body physically and spiritually, and then complaining that they're not making money. Like, oh, have you thought of this? Fuck you. Okay. Okay. You know everything without reading a single book your whole life. You know better than me. So, just being out of that energy, by the way, fucking such a relief. It's like, oh God, every day doesn't have to be terrible. I know I'm like painting a horrific picture, but it was horrific, frankly. Um, Giving 100% and getting zero is very hard. But at the same time, like I knew that was going to happen, so I can't complain. It's like I felt guided to be there, so that's what I was doing. I think I learned things along the way. There's so many things that I learned that I didn't journal about at the time. One because it would offend someone, and the other is because they're probably not ready to listen and hear these things and absorb them. It feels like an attack rather than like the reason I know is because I've been there or I've been that person. Uh, when I was the hardest I've ever been to love, I wish someone would have stuck by me and I would have pushed them away, and I would have been violent and aggressive and angry and all this stuff. And I wish someone had just seen that, like, hey, he doesn't mean it, or he's going through something or whatever. And when I noticed, of course, when I noticed that in someone, I'm like, oh, that's the level I was at. I remember this, and I think this might be before your big breakthrough. So I will be the mirror. I'll be the manifestation of all your traumas and anger, and I'll receive all of this hate and anger and receive nothing but trauma, basically. If you, I always say it, the nature of trauma is you become the monster that created. So this person was always telling me what the people they loved did to neglect them or devalue them, or how much, no matter how much love they gave, they were told it wasn't enough or they never did anything, blah, blah, blah. And whatever your trauma is, you're going to make the people around you feel that way. So everything this person experienced, they did to me. And of course, they think the people who have uh, wronged them are unforgivable. They should never be forgiven. And I kept saying, like, like they're hurt, and hurt people. It's the shittiest cliche, but it's used by morons, so it's lost its meaning. But don't you deserve forgiveness for the things that you've done? Do you think that you've done anything wrong? The answer is no. Oh, weird that you can't see when you do something wrong. Neither can the person who harmed you. You're the same animal. And I say animal because when you're unconscious, you act like an animal. When you're unconscious, you're using your lizard brain. They say you have like 4 or 5 different parts of your brain. And when you're in fight or flight, you cannot use your higher consciousness. You're not actually thinking. So I've actually witnessed the same person be in their higher consciousness and be able to see and read people's unconscious behaviors and opinions and all this stuff. And I compare it to, I went on a walk with someone and their dog. And obviously everyone's close to their dog. But there was fireworks or something. And the dog was in fear. And it turned into just an animal. You could see in its eyes. Like the dog's not there anymore. It's not your friend, doesn't know you. It's just an animal panting, like you couldn't calm it down. It just became an animal. That is like 99% of the people you interact with. Everyone that's getting mad at the drive-through worker or whatever the fuck, like they're in an animalistic state. And of course, like it's very rare for people to do the work and actually get out of it because everything's against you. The food you eat, the pharmaceuticals you consume, the media you consume, you're scrolling on TikTok, like all these things are specifically made to keep you in that state. And until you become conscious, you don't even see that. It's conspiracy theory. It's like you are literally, give them circus and bread. You are literally being brainwashed and lulled into unconsciousness. And it takes work. And Carl Jung said that there's no coming to consciousness without pain. So every time you go through something painful, it is an invitation to consciousness. It is God or your higher self or whatever forces are in this world dragging you against your will into consciousness. It's like being born. It's like being born again. Like every baby cries being pulled out of the womb and like, what the fuck is this? It's bright. They smack you. They inject you with shit right away. It's like fucking. It's literally the worst things that it'll be the worst things that ever happened to you for a long time. Um, Seeing like my brother's twins, like when they need to burp or whatever or fart, like they're crying because it's like the pain is the worst thing they've ever experienced. Now, pain is something that's like people hold on to their pain as their identity. And as long as your pain is your identity, you're a slave. You're fucking weak and you're a slave. And the reason is that if you think you've had it worse than people. Like, I was watching that documentary where this adopted girl who's a midget and all this shit was just passed around and almost murdered, poisoned. Like, no one her entire life ever loved her, and she's disabled as fuck. So even if she finds love, she's still in this useless body. How the fuck are you complaining? How's the hand that you were dealt worse? Now, what has helped me understand and put into perspective pain and trauma is that in this life you're earning karma. So in the past life you earned karma, and then whatever you're born to is what you deserve. It's what you've earned. If you were a fucking asshole in your last life, guess what? It's not going to be fair this time around either. So fuck you for complaining. I didn't have this and other people have that and blah, blah, blah. As long as you think that way, you're going to be suffering. And it's self imposed. It's the dumbest fucking thing you can do. As long as it's a low vibrational thought, you're in hell. You're literally in hell because you are thinking that way. That's what hell is. It's not somewhere they stab you with pitchforks. They have red pointed tails. It's here. Do you want to be in heaven or hell? If you want to be in heaven, fucking, it's up to you. Hell, they're inviting you every day. Open invitations. They're always recruiting. And everyone is like happy to be there. Materialism, that's like Agramenu in Zoroastrianism, is the god of materialism is the devil. And look around. And look in Persian culture. How it's still in us. That is fucking plaguing these people. Now, I learned so much just interacting with like people from the culture, and then listening to people's thought process and traumas and stuff like this. And of course, I don't want to be judgmental because that's a low vibration. It's not good for me to do. It's not like as a matter of respect for the other party, but it's just like I know it's not good. But at the same time, like the things that I've learned, the spiritual bypassing people do. Like if you do the spiritual work, you are getting stronger. So there should be proof of the resilience. You know what I mean? So I talked about, I think the last time, it's like someone heard something they didn't like and they had a panic attack. It's like someone who meditates 3 hours a day is like, okay, what are we doing here? What was all that? It's like I know from everything you say and think and do that you didn't do the work, but like this is proof. Don't you have the ability to self reflect? It's scary that people cannot self reflect because it's all I do. Like I wouldn't be able to see it in other people if I hadn't done the work. Now that being said, like people that are unconscious, it's like they never second guess oh, that's what that is. I know that's what that is. Or they really fear judgment and they're very judgmental. It's like you you fear it because that's what you are. Whatever your fear is teaching you something. So fucking learn from it. You shouldn't have any fear. And I experienced that myself because I had done the spiritual work. Did not give a fuck what anyone thinks about me. Live my life my own way and have my own. I marched to the beat of my own drum. And I did mushrooms with someone who was very unsafe to do mushrooms around, like at my most vulnerable, exploited it and tried to make me feel like shit. And because I've done the work in a compromised space, I did not react negatively. I was sitting Indian style and being peaceful and let this demon try to make me a demon. Something very interesting there, but um, I wouldn't be able to recognize someone turning it like I saw this David Guillaume guy say that when you react in anger, the soul leaves the body. And if you recognize when you've done it, you can see it in other people. So again, it's not judgment in the sense that I'm better than you. It's like, no, I have been. Is it judgment? Like talking to a sixth grader about sixth grade. It's like, yeah, I went through sixth grade. This is the things that I experienced. Oh, you're dealing with that too? It's not judgment. But to an unconscious person, anything feels like an attack, especially if you hold a certain place in someone's life. You're a mirror to their traumas. Um, so, I mean, hard to be in and around. So on the mushrooms, I was self-reflecting. I was like, I haven't been myself. And I had this podcast appearance coming out, and I was like, I don't want it to come out. I don't like how I came off. I don't like how I talked. I wasn't happy with my performance. I didn't want to be judged. And these are feelings that I had gotten past. So I'm like, why the fuck are they here again? Because who I was with has all those fears. That shit rubbed off on me. I regressed. Well, I don't give a fuck. That's that's who I am. I don't give a fuck. So I was like, where the fuck did this come from? So the mushrooms made me think like it made the feeling that was inside come to the surface because I didn't realize that I had that fear because I had already gotten over it. That's what these journals are. Like, how more open and honest and upfront and fearless can you be? Saying like everything that I think for the fucking internet. So it's public. So the mushrooms, like, it came out like, oh fuck, like I'm afraid of this. And then the person who's supposed to help me on my trip was judging me during, which is not a good feeling, and saying like, "Oh, you see, the mushrooms made you that way." It's like, no, dumbass, I felt that way. The mushrooms is showing me how I felt, and then guess what? I fucking realized how stupid it is. I'm like, oh, that's incorrect. So it brought to the surface something so that I can get rid of it. And then the podcast comes out. I've gotten more um, activity on the business social media than I've ever had ever. The whole time I've been in business. So fucking, what is the fear here? Oh, you see, there's a reason to be afraid. Go ahead, be afraid. You're afraid of everything. Um, the other thing is like, I could see the influence around this person that I'm talking about. So I know like they're an amalgamation because you don't have your own identity. If you don't individuate, you are just an amalgamation of the fears and traumas of the people around you. And when those people are all unconscious, what fucking chance do you have? But this is the point of individuation. So they attach really tightly to the people around them. And then they all have a distrust of men. They all have the same trauma. And they're all fucking unlovable. Also, because they have that fear, they perpetuate the same problem in every relationship. It's you, bitch. It's always you. It's always you. Um, if you have a fear of someone taking advantage of you or abandoning you, you are going to ensure that happens. So in the case of this, I never one day got my needs met. I never one day felt comfortable. I never one day felt safe. Never one day the entire time. And I knew how it would end. And I knew that I would be the bad guy, and I knew that this is probably meant to happen. So I had such a hard time trying to figure out why the synchronicities were around when I could see the person is in hell. Like, I'm not supposed to. Like, I've suffered enough. I don't need to be in hell. Um, and then I realized that if I don't do this if I don't show this person unconditional love, they'll never experience it in their life. They don't know what it is, so they wouldn't know how to recognize it. Someone who's still looking for their basic needs to be met is not looking for like a soulmate. They're looking for someone to just make me feel safe, buy me things, buy me things, buy me things. And the dumb thing about that is like, one, even the richest man is not going to want to do this, to be exploited. Um, and then the other thing is that no matter how much they buy you, it's diminishing returns. You're going to want more and more and more because it doesn't actually do what you're trying to get it to do. And then at the same time, the same person I've had like real conversations with uh, about patterns and materialism and all this stuff. It's like I know it's in you. I know you know better. And then from like a place where they were becoming conscious, they reverted way, 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 way back. Every single aspect of their life got worse and then kept going in that direction. And again, without judgment, it's like I've done the same thing. I can recognize it because I've been there. And if you met the perfect person in that phase of your life, you will destroy them. But the other thing is, I've talked a lot about energy over the years and patterns. So, like, whatever's unhealed in the parents will be in the children, which is why, like, I would have never considered making a child with someone who's unconscious. I cannot do it. That's why I haven't had kids yet. I don't know anyone who's as far as I am on this path that's female. Um, Not to say it doesn't exist, but obviously I've had things to work on because I wouldn't have these lessons. I wouldn't. This person wouldn't have access to me in my life. We wouldn't have met. We wouldn't have connected if I was further along on my journey. And I had things that were still in my shadow that needed to be addressed. And over the course of the last year, I've had triggers from this person. They can only be from a person like this. So the point of being triggered is to bring to the surface things that are unhealed so that I can heal them. And that person's not supposed to heal them for me. They're supposed to trigger me. And I'm supposed to examine myself. Oh, why am I triggered? Why am I this? So what I saw was this fear of judgment, fear of being not good enough, fear. And I was like, I got that from you. Okay, that's not in me. That's why I notice I've changed is because I've had to lower my vibration to even interact with this person. Because getting a phone call and saying like, "Hey, is this person a tranny?" is like, okay, once in a while, like it might be fun or funny to fuck around and joke, but if it's every fucking thing you want to do is lower my vibration, I can't do it. And if I give a little bit, like you don't realize how much you regress. But the results were showing. It's like I was spending more than I was making, just like that person. Um, and the thing is, like, they were never concerned about my well being, my financial situation, or whatever, just concerned about themselves. If I brought up any type of issues that I'm having, there's no help there. You know what I mean? Like, I had to buy a car and have to move, and all this shit is coming up. I have to have a business to run, just concerned with their own needs. This is obviously not a partner. It's like there's nothing for me here. This is someone's injured child. I don't want to raise someone else's shitty kid. I want a partner. Um, Now, what's going to happen in this person's life? They are going to be exactly what their model was. So, someone who doesn't receive love will always feel at a deficit. So, no matter how much you give, it's not enough. And I've experienced this in my own family, by the way. So, I recognize it and I've had to work on it to not be the same way because I was this. So, again, it's not judgment. I can't see something and pretend I don't see because it would be nice if I don't, or polite. It's like, fuck, this is what you're doing. Shut up and listen. Um, So I know someone who uh, grew up being betrayed by every male in their life. And then when it came time to marry, they married for status and money. And then, of course, no matter how much status and money someone has, it doesn't fill the hole because you're trying to rush past the work you need to do and just get to the next phase of life. That's where I'll be happy. I'll be happy when. But if you are not happy now with nothing, you will not be happy with everything. Someone could write a blank check. You buy everything in the world. You'll be empty as fuck. You idiot. This is a spiritual world. You're here to do work, not rest. If you decide to have a resting life, God bless you. You still have the next time you're going to have this same lesson. And that's why it's generational. Because if you don't fix it, you give that shit to your kids. Your kids will give that shit to their kids. And then when you reincarnate down the line, you have the same trauma, dickhead. It's still you later. You got to fix that. Someone does. Someone's got to do it. Um, so this person who felt empty inside, no matter how much their partner tried to fix the relationship, tried to give them love, tried to sacrifice themselves to make the other person whole, that killed the partner. They gave all of their energy to that person. And to put an exclamation point on my point, that person died. All of their energy went to the partner, the unhealed partner. The partner is still living off their energy. Do you think the kids of that partner would rather have a parent that never works and is independent, or they'd rather have both parents? And of course, this is tragic all the way around because nobody knows what they're doing. Nobody sees the pattern. Nobody's self-analyzing here. It was a weak fucking man. Fucking weak to give all their energy and then kill themselves in pursuit of someone that doesn't love them. That's their karma. That's their lesson. And guess what? The fucking kids are gonna do the same thing because that's what I experienced. Someone trying to kill me because it's not enough. And I'm not fucking stupid. And I know what's happening. So it's like I will give you everything. I will say yes to everything. You're right in it. Every argument, you're right. What are the fucking odds that you're always right? And when you're the least happy person in the world. What are the fucking odds? How do you not have any self-reflection? You are a fucking legitimate vampire if you do not have self-reflection. That's a metaphor. That's what narcissism is. Oh, weird. You're always right. It's always someone else's fault. Weird. I'm sure everything's fixed now, right? Now that I'm gone, everything's perfect. I bet. So, going into this, going to this season of my life where I can recognize the person's trauma, how they manifest, how they'll treat me, how they treat the people around them, what their life lessons are going to be, who's going to betray them, what their financial situation is going to be like, what their karma is going to be like. I knew that being in a relationship with someone like this is not good for me, and this is not. Even if it was the right person, they have so much bad karma they've earned that they have to pay off. They're unconscious, so in order to become conscious, you have to see the pattern of, I did that, so then this happened. And until you realize you're the asshole and you're at fault, you will not earn a partner. You will not earn consciousness. And this repetitive cycle is going to perpetuate. So in a relationship with me, I'm the source of, you made me feel abandoned and ugly and not good enough and this and that and that. It's like, no, you feel that way, and whoever you're with, you're going to project onto them. And it's your job to be like, I'm projecting, not to look at me and say, I'm projecting. You can only understand your own projections by what you're. This person was always telling me how I felt. It's like, where the fuck did you get the insight? How do you know what I feel? Oh, you're unhappy, you're numb, you're this. It's like, well, you're good at sharing those feelings. But you know what I've done is like, I might not appear to be like fucking jovial and skipping and whatever, but bad things do not affect me the way they affect other people. And the thing is that I've done enough work that I know I'm not where I need to be yet. And I'm not the type to pretend. But weirdly, that's how you get there. You basically fake it till you make it. Like I talk to a friend of mine all the time who says like I walk in a room and if I smile, people smile back. And it just changes the vibe and then people love this guy. It's like, yeah, I've experienced that. I've actually when I like worked on myself and I was taking therapy and then I did like a massive dose of mushrooms, I just let go. I was like, oh, I'm preventing myself from being happy. What I noticed is when I was with this person, I would try. I'd be just try to let go and be myself and be like joke with waiters, whatever. And they're like, "Why did you say that? Why did you? Aren't you, you're being weird?" It's like, shut the fuck up. You're being weird. And it fucking reminds me like this is my dad is that free spirit, and my mom is this closed off person. What it has to look this way. It doesn't have to be anything. You have to be happy. Why are you so concerned with what strangers think of you? Those people don't fucking matter. Why is everything in your life built about a stranger needs to think I have value, so I have to wear name brand stuff? A stranger thinks I must be this way. I will only feel loved if love looks like this. If it doesn't look like this, if it's not a doctor and I don't have the status, then I won't feel it. It's like, good luck, dumbass. Try to get it. And I hope you do, because the same problems exist for you there. Fuck it, stupid. From this side of the equation, it's so fucking stupid. But when I was there, it's like you don't know what you don't know. So everyone you look at, everyone you see, is that you can only see as far as you've developed yourself. So this person and everyone in their circle, they only know what they know. So they put in context the actions and behaviors of everyone else that they consider like a threat in their they put it in their perspective through their lens, and of course it's always negative. Oh, people are judgy. Oh, people are just after sex, or people are after money. It's like, that's you. Someone's opinion of the world is a confession of character. You're telling me exactly who you are by what your fears are. Those people are like that. You're telling me, and I'm not fucking stupid. I know what I'm hearing. Um, those people, they do this. They don't understand. So blah blah blah. It's like, okay, like sitting here and just like listening. It's and not being able to say anything because people are unconscious will react really harshly when you try to get them to see the error of their own logic. So it's like you just have to let people be fucking nuts, I guess. It's like, oh, you've lived your whole life unhappy, you're still unhappy, and then, but you're right. I was telling some people about this story about like these sisters, and one of them's dating someone, and the sister doesn't like the boyfriend, and then when I'm telling the story, so the person I'm telling it to is like, oh, the boyfriend wanted a threesome, and I was like, a, a threesome with sisters? Yeah, yeah, I know them. Those people, like, you don't even know their names. How the fuck are you so sure? Every no, those people are like that. That's and then like fucking nail in the coffin, and you just have to be like, okay, what are we gonna argue? Like you're fucking. Do you realize what you're saying about how you think? Fuck, that's scary. fuck, that's scary. And I can see, like, oh, I can imagine what it was like to be married to you. Fuck, you're always, let me guess, you're always right. And everyone is like, who the fuck thinks that? How would you think that that's something that happens in regular life? Yeah, sisters are just, here banging each other. You have a sister? Have you thought of banging them with someone? Like, fucking, it wouldn't cross your mind. Why would that be the first thing and the only thing? Fuck me. Um, so, of course, I regress. Of course, things in my life got harder because I'm around this energy. Shit energy. It's fucking poisonous. So my thought was like, okay, like, who is ever going to come into this situation and improve it? Who is ever going to be like, I recognize what's happening. Let me love you while it's impossible to love you. You are the least lovable thing I've ever seen in my life. Do nothing, nothing to earn love. Just demand it. And even when they express love, it's fucking mean. Like, taking care of me. This is another thing. I said the energy of the deceased spouse is keeping the other spouse alive. And then the spouse that survived was like, "Oh, uh, I took care of them while they were dying, and I did it out of love. I did it out of love." It's like, who the fuck told you or taught you what love is? I can see why he's dead. I can see it because the same shit was happening to me. Is like, if this is what you think taking care of someone is, fucking don't. Fucking do not. Because it's so fucking aggressive and mean and fucking, there's no, like, the energy is shit. And then also, like, why are you being mean when someone is suffering? That increases suffering. Like, what happened? This guy died here. The spouse died here and then in here before his physical body failed. And then, of course, the this will happen in perpetuity to the grandkids, the fucking grandkids, until someone becomes conscious and then stops the fucking pendulum swinging. This was an insane thing to watch happen. Like, the most insane thing to just be like, okay, you as the children of who experienced this, you saw it firsthand. And now, as you're doing the same fucking playbook, you're doing the same exact thing, and you don't once, like, hold on, wait, is it me? Am I the fucked up one? Am I wrong? Not once, because fucking, like, I have the same trauma, but the entire time I've always been wrong. In my family growing up, it was still me. Now in every relationship, it's still me for some reason. So I've always been looking at myself like, oh fuck, maybe I did, maybe I'm an asshole. Yeah, maybe it's my fault I got sick. I should die, right? Um, fuck. Um, Now how my logic going into, like, this fucking toxic ass environment, this fucking, it's legitimately, not metaphorically, it was me going into hell. I had a dream last year and I journaled about it, about a siren. And the siren was this person. So the siren is in a pool and basically behind, like, a cage, like a grate under the pool, and reaching its hand through into heaven. Like, I need help, I need help. Come help me, come save me. Like, that's the soul of the tortured siren reaching for help. And in the dream, I was like, I'm not falling for that shit, bitch. You're on your own. You think I'm stupid? And then a friend of mine was like, I'm going to save her. And I was like, you're fucking dumb. It's going to kill you. And just like in real life, my friend would say this, that's my sister. I'm going to save her. And I was like, your funeral, whatever. And then my friend goes to grab the hand of the siren, and the siren starts dragging her to hell. I'm like, ah, fuck. So I go in, like, break their grip, and then the siren grabs me and starts dragging me to hell. And what I remember specifically was the energy of the siren, right? It's like it wants to kill me. Its purpose is to make a man suffer. It's fucking programmed to do that. And I could feel the energy without it talking. We're underwater. It didn't say anything to me, but I know the energy. And my thought was, this is a tortured soul. It's like it still exists in God's world, right? So there has to be, I refuse to believe that God just damns anybody permanently. There must be a soul inside this tortured being. It must, at its core, be good. And that has caused the entire year of suffering for me, is me having these types of fucking thoughts. So in my dream, as I'm being dragged into the darkness of hell, my last conscious thought was, I'm going to love it. I know it's here to kill me. I know it's trying to actively kill me right now, and my reaction was to hug it and kiss it, and then I faded to black. And when I woke up, I was like, I know what I have to do. That's who I am. From meeting the person, it's like, oh, you're the most fucking hurt. It's like you can't even get close to him. Right when we met, aggressive, angry, like, will fight dirty, will say the nasty. I've never heard anyone talk like, my enemies don't talk about me like this. If it was a man, I would have fucking knocked every giant tooth out of their fucking face. The first offense, it was so fucking difficult to hear someone just dig at your soul constantly and just be like, yeah, this is just a hurt person. This is the tortured soul. This is the siren. I went into a fucking pool of sirens trying to pull one out into fucking heaven. It's like it's your decision to stay in hell or not. So again, when I was in this unconscious state and I was unlovable and I was dangerous because I'm a man. I'm not, I don't just have the ability to hurt I'm really good at it. I could really fuck people up with words, but I could also fucking kill someone. There was that weak ass dude. He was like 5'5", 100 pounds. Strangled his girlfriend in the fucking hiking trail. He's fucking nobody. Like that is a weak man. Even at my worst, I had to constantly, like, it's not. I had the desire. I had the anger. I was justified in my resentments. I thought there's no justified resentments, Wayne Dyer says, but I could have inflicted physical and emotional pain, the likes of which the devil would be very proud of. And it takes a lot of strength to be, even at your worst, be like, okay, I can't go that far. I can't go to revenge. I can't inflict physical harm on someone just because I'm emotionally compromised. Um, and the same courtesy was not shown to me. I'll tell you that, because um, even when showing concern for the person's well-being, even when giving them love when they didn't deserve it, even when they did their best to normalize and equalize um, and devalue me and all this stuff. um, I still see the bigger picture. I still see that it's like it's not your fault. It's not the fault of the people who did that to you either. Like at some point, you have to forgive. You're holding on to all this pain, and you're toxic waste. You are unlovable because you will not accept love. It's not that you don't deserve love. Everyone deserves love, but you won't accept it. You won't feel it until you forgive. Torturing yourself in this fucking stupid ass cycle. Let me change the external. Let me change my fucking furniture. Let me change who I'm dating. Let me change this, that. You already tried that. We talked about it. It wasn't working, right? So when I was friends with this person, we got along famously. It was I was like, oh, this is what I saw. I saw what's underneath. I was like, I know there's a gem inside there, but the nature of our relationship wasn't to be friends because just like I had normal healthy relationships before this relationship that ended amicably, that didn't have violent thoughts or actions associated with it. And those people couldn't teach me anything. In this relationship, I saw things that were in my shadow. And in this relationship, that person, I triggered every unconscious fear and shadow energy and thought and feeling and emotion they've ever had. I was the manifestation of their trauma. And they're constantly looking at me like you are the source of. I just got here, bitch. How the fuck? How's it me? I've been so nice to you. I've been more than you deserve, certainly. Um, and I think that's the purpose. I think that was what that person needed, and that's what I needed because I saw my own growth through the experience. Is because there were things that I thought I had gotten past, but because they weren't being triggered, I just thought it wasn't a problem. But we don't avoid the storm, we dance in the rain. You're supposed to not be triggered by anything. If you have a trigger, you have something to work on. You are still reliving a trauma if you have a trigger. So everything that I got triggered into, unconscious reaction behavior, because this person's essentially, whether it's figurative or literal, they're demons. When, like, for instance, when I was on mushrooms, the like, the anger, I was like, it doesn't make like, I take you to a staycation after a 2 week long vacation, where I pay for everything, where I get yelled at the entire time. I get told it's not good enough. It's like, okay, then fucking leave, go home. You're not my prisoner. It's like I fucking came here to relax, and the entire time, kind of distance. Very short moments of being nice, very short lived, and then like being blamed for their unhappiness. Like, okay, let's go on a staycation. Let's talk. That's why I decided. It was like, I'll open up. I'll be wide open. I'll do mushrooms. Like I'm not in my right mind. It's like I'm more vulnerable. I'll show you. Like I'm willing to be vulnerable in front of you, right? And the level of anger. You talking about everything except me. It's like, okay, well, you haven't been a safe person to talk to. I don't know if you realize that, but also like the level of anger compared to the complaint. I was like this doesn't make any sense. And no matter what, I was like, okay, let's talk, let's calm down. Don't touch me. Like fucking like spikes coming out of her, not him, not them. Maybe them. Maybe it was a they. Maybe there's multiple people in there. Um, and interestingly, I was like, look, do you think there's anything in the world you could say or do to me and I would act like you're acting? Or I would say, don't touch me and you don't deserve love. And I would take that away and hold it against you and make you, you need to feel my pain. You're in trouble and I won't love you until you cunt. That's fucking rude. For someone who wouldn't do that to you. So again, I was like, if I don't show this person unconditional love, they'll never see it in their life. I had to take so much abuse, and I promise you, I'm being rewarded for it already. Like I'm already seeing the clouds have opened up, and my life is going really well. And I'm sure their life sucks. They've got a lot of karma and a lot of growth to do, but that's a great thing. Uh, I'll talk about what I foresee in their future um, next. But interestingly, while I was like, look, your demon is inviting me to be a demon. I'm in a compromised state, and I could, I've, when I've been in that state, like, I've been quick to anger. I've been quick to threaten violence. I have been verbally abusive, and I was calm as a cucumber, and I wasn't taking the bait. And then it seemed like that made them angrier, and they inhaled to get like more out, and there's a loud bang in the door, in the wall, and we both looked. It was like there's no source of the, and it wasn't like someone in the other room banging. Like it was, I think it might have been someone, but a spirit of someone. That's what it felt like. And it didn't have like this. I didn't have like this feeling that it was nefarious or we were being watched or there was like a bad ghost or demon or something. But I 100% had the feeling that it was a soul, a person, a, because where it happened, how it happened, the noise, like Jung talked about this, like there was a reason for it happening right at that moment. And as I was looking into her eyes, because the noise scared her, I could see when the humanity returned to her eyes, and I was like, "Oh fuck!" Like that's when I realized I was like, "I'm just arguing. This is like, there's no soul in her right now." So when I heard David Guillaume say, like, when you're angry, the soul leaves the body, I was like, was it her soul? Was it her higher self trying to get her attention? And I was like, was it her higher self communicating with me the whole time? Because the person sucks. Horrific. I will not attach myself to someone with no morals, no values, no self worth, no self love. Because what would my kids be like? What? How will they treat me? It's a fucking terrible partner. The worst thing you could ever hope for. But I was drawn to this so much that at one point I was like, okay, this must be the twin flame thing. And if you don't have that feeling, then there's no lesson. Like you're supposed to fall in love with. It's stupid to fall in love with someone's potential, but feeling that twin flame thing, if you didn't feel that, you wouldn't learn anything. That's where those empty relationships come from. Those are where you rest. It's like, oh, just someone like to eat with or watch TV with, but there's nothing. There's no connection. There's no magnetism, whatever. So in my head, I was like, okay, either it was like a ancestor or it was their higher self, or it was like there's something to that noise that I don't think that was random. And imagine like if at the end of this person's life, when they die and they don't have the pain that they experienced in this world, could go back in time and relive the past and see where they fucked up and see where they, you know what I mean? Wouldn't you be in the wall looking at this scene and be like, stop, idiot. What are you doing? That's what it felt like. Like Inception, when he's like in the Inception? Interstellar. When he's like in the fourth dimension and he's in the shelving or whatever for the books. It's like fucking exactly like that. Which of course sounds crazy, but fucking the world works some way. There's something more than just your body. I know that. If you haven't figured that out yet, you're fucking retarded. I knew it as a kid. So all this fucking just trauma, 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 share the trauma, share the trauma. Is like, it's very hard to be treated this way and not just become a piece of shit in every aspect of your life to get revenge. It's very hard to keep a high vibration. And no matter what I did, it wasn't good enough. No matter what I did, it was wrong. No matter what I did, it was treated with hostility, with anger, with resentment. With the last texts I got were like, "I hope you never find peace. I'll kill you with my bare hands." It's like, you know, this is pretty fucking egregious, unforgivable. You expect to be forgiven for everything, but you won't forgive anyone for anything. It's very interesting. Of course, going into it, I knew I had to forgive in advance because otherwise I'd become the demon that created this. I'd become the same thing. Very fucking difficult spiritual lesson, this. So I had to journal about it at some point. Um, so what's going to happen? When we were friends, I was predicting. I was like, "Let me guess, you feel this way. You're going to do this. This is what's going to happen in your relationship. This. Everything that I predicted." Am I psychic? No. Did I see the future? No. But I know people. I know patterns, and I know the spiritual journey. Jung outlined it. Anima and Animus. Homer did the fucking hero's journey. I know what's going to happen. You're not there yet. So as this person dove deeper and deeper into materialism, deeper into trying to find physical relief, massages, vacations, it's oh, it still feels empty, does it? Weird. How are you treating your body? Do you have a bunch of fucking poison in your body? You have caffeine and you have pharmaceutical drugs and you have fucking and you're not eating properly? Weird that you're unhappy. How's your body making happy chemicals with this shit? How fucking dumb are you? It's like if I mention, hey, do you think maybe fuck you? Okay, you stay in hell. Be my guest. What's going to happen and what is happening for this person? They are in hell, literally in hell as we speak, which is why they don't have access today. And they are going to go deeper into hell, trying the same things over and over again. And from what I can see, the things that used to work are working less. The people around her are meant she's using to soothe herself. And eventually, the people around her are going to use her and abuse her. And because she thinks it's justified to have fear of men for doing that, she doesn't realize that it happens with the women in her life too. She's going to have a huge financial difficulty. She's pushing money away, and her higher self is pushing money away on purpose so that she sees that she's on the wrong path. She's refusing to see. So she thinks it's just you just work harder, then the money comes. It's like, okay, good luck. I'm sure if you spend more, money will come more too. So there's a hole in her pocket. Life is going to get very hard if it isn't right now. And especially, you don't have my energy now. You don't have the one person who wanted what's best for you, who is like a spiritual guide, who is patient and understanding and loving no matter what you fucking did. I never withdrew my love. I never, you know what I mean? Like, I recently talked to a girl, different girl, and I could tell she is traumatized and was cheated on and all this stuff. And she started treating me like I was the ex. It's like, I haven't done anything to you. So like the first time she like took it out on me or misread what I was saying, I was like, okay, like I'm going to be cool and calm and patient or whatever, but how many I'm still looking at people as if they will be my partners. Like this ain't it. Physically very attractive. Um, Dumb as shit though, because there's nothing going on here. There's no thought. There's no work. It's just trying to be sedated. I can't fucking do that. I can't do it again. This second time she did it to me, I left her voicemail. I was like, "This is the last time you're gonna hear from me," and I blocked her on everything. And then she messaged my business account. It's like, "Call me." It's like, this is how I this is how I treat these things. It is not hard for me to walk away from unhealthy things and people, whatever. It's not hard for me to assess what someone's capable of. It's not hard for me to assess if someone has the ability to be in a relationship with me. So this whole song and dance, like the advice I get from friends, is like, you think I'm unconscious still. I knew at every step of the way what this was. I knew this isn't my partner. She has to die. This person, an aspect of them, the old version of them, has to die completely. And her life will get horrific, horrific until she does, so that the phoenix can be reborn and she can reinvent herself and actually discover who she is and what she is and what's valuable in this world. Because before we're dating, she's showing me $80,000 engagement rings. Like, we're not even friends, lady. You've treated me like shit. What the fuck are we looking at this for? It's like if all you value is material stuff, no matter how much money I dump into your ass, the next guy with a bigger boat is gonna come and just like, what fucking sense does that make? You think I'm stupid? You need to value yourself enough to that was confirmation enough to know that you can't be bought. I cannot be bought. You can't bribe me. Like all these we hear about what people are doing in for record deals and shit. It's like, oh, just go into this room and then there's no amount of money. There's nothing you can bribe me with. To betray someone, you can't bribe me. I wouldn't do it. You're born in hell here. And you're born and bred to be weak, weak willed, moralists, um, chasing the wrong things. And as long as you don't have any values or self worth, you're going to be giving your spiritual energy up. You're going to be chasing things that don't matter. Everything that you get that you think makes you happy will eventually turn to ash. And the closer you are to your breakthrough, the worse it gets. The less those things work, the harder life is. And it's part of the process that's meant to happen. It's up to you whether you actually take the invitation and go to heaven. You can stay the rest of this life in hell. In the next incarnation, you'll have the same lesson and you'll complain the same, oh, it's unfair. Why did this happen to me? Why was I given this hand? You'll never look at other people like they've had it worse or they've even experienced. No one understands my pain. I'm sure you don't understand your pain because there's a purpose to it. Till you find out the purpose, you are going to suffer. Nobody else suffers. It's very simple. I don't know how it's so hard. Like legitimately, you become an animal. When you're in fight or flight, you're a fucking animal. So there's nothing that will open your eyes uh, until you suffer enough. So do yourself a favor and start thinking about it because the world will get harsher for you. That's the plan. for me, I had to lose every friend I thought I had. I had to lose all my money. I had to lose my reputation. I had to lose everything. And once we don't have anything to lose, that's when Rumi says, the wound is where the light enters you. And when God has sent everyone away, it's so that it's only you and Him. And unfortunately, you have to suffer a great fucking deal before you even ask yourself about God. And funnily enough, this person keeps going to breathwork seminars and psychics and it's like, give me the answers. Give me the answers. Give me the answers. It's like, if it worked, you'd go once, dumbass. If it worked, you'd only have to go once. What you're looking for isn't outside. You have the answers. It's built in you. If there's a God, you have a direct connection. He made you, your soul comes from Him. So who the fuck are you asking? Don't even ask me. You're supposed to sit with your pain. Stop distracting yourself. Clean your fucking body so you can actually think. You know what your feelings are teaching you. Because it's your soul trying to communicate with you. Your soul is trying to get your attention. And the more you push it away, the more soulless you are. I think that knock in the wall was their soul. And that soul is my friend. That soul is who I connected with. The person, it's like even physically just like withering away, it's like turning into Golem from Lord of the Rings. My precious is just like fucking turning into an animal for material shit, like lost its soul. What are you doing? You look fucking weird now. It's like, what do you see in the mirror? It's like yeah, I firmly think that the powers that be are brainwashing people to follow this same dead end path, feel empty and not good enough, and keep changing your physical appearance and keep you need fillers and you need Botox and you need this and that. Like I was thinking that I was like, fuck. I did my podcast and I was like, fuck, these wrinkles are pretty deep now. It's like, you know what, fucking, this is how I'm supposed to look. I'm 40. That was my attitude my whole life. So this is how I'm supposed to look. Otherwise, I dye my hair. That's how I'm supposed to look. And then being with someone who's in that vibration, it just rubs off. Like, oh fuck, do I have to inject myself with poison, kill myself a little bit, and then it's in your body. These fillers and shit, and Botox or whatever, it's systemic. It doesn't stay here. What's your brain doing with poison, a neurotoxin? People are microdosing meth, thinking like that's the normal thing. Like you're, if the spiritual world is real, you're inviting demons into your body. You're lowering your vibration. You're fucking. Who the fuck are you to fight that? You don't even know what you're doing. And if the spiritual world doesn't exist, still figuratively, you're doing the same thing. You're killing your body in exchange for temporary relief, temporary happiness. Everything in their life is going to be temporary. Sexual gratification, temporary. Uh, Relationship, temporary. I guarantee you, until they wake up, they will never have a relationship last longer than 3 months. By design. And it's always the other person's fault. It's always, you're not doing enough. You're not good enough. You're not, because they're saying that to themselves. So the outside world is going to reflect that. How you treat yourself is what you earn in the real world. Your inner thoughts will control the outside. Good thoughts, good words, good deeds. It's not that hard. One of the last conversations we had was like, I could see they were low energy and looking for energy from me. So FaceTimed me or whatever. And then just wanted to talk shit about people. And I was like, hey, don't do that. And then they look to their circle like, oh, he's defending his friends. Isn't that gay? It's like, it has nothing to do with me defending anybody. It's that you're having a stupid, low vibrational conversation. You don't get energy by talking shit about people. And I'm guilty of it, of course. Like I've had the thought, like you see like a ugly person or fat person, like there is that initial like ugh. It's your second thought that counts. Your second thought tells you who you are. And if you just keep spiraling down this hole, it's like I'm not coming in there with you. You can live in hell as long as you want, sweetheart. I'm not coming. I'm gonna be in heaven where things work out for me. I get opportunities without trying. People are seeking me out. People trust my advice. I'm able to receive and give love. Should learn what love is. Because it's not what you think. You don't love someone against their will or angrily. I did it out of love. Narcissists are worried about how it will appear. Look at what I did. I fixed you. I healed you. I deserve a reward. Marcus Aurelius said, don't wait on the third thing. If you see someone that needs help, then you help them. You don't wait for the reward. You're telling on yourselves, like, I did it for how it will make me seem. I tell people I fixed you. Tell people I did this. Tell people I took care of you. That entire time, I would have rather been alone. It's like you make me feel like shit. The reason I got sick, I'm confident, is being around someone whose energy's fucking drawing all mine out. I've never been like 6 weeks I was sick. Like, oh, I wonder how this. I don't get sick. Oh, I wonder how this is happening. Me giving all of my energy to something and then being constantly punished for it. It's like I might be an angel, but I have my limits. So there's at a certain point, once the abuse got really bad, I was like, I can't just sit here and accept any type of treatment and behaviors. Like at this point, like you lost access to me. You can't talk to me like this anymore. And then I will never, from now on, I will never accept this type of behavior from anybody. I paid my dues. I lived my karma. Like I was this way to people who were trying to help me. Almost like parallel lives. Like I was doing the same things. I was looking for a pill to solve my problem. I was looking for answers in the real world. I was looking for someone to just take my pain away. But we don't need someone to take our pain away. We need to transform our pain. And you do that alone, and you do that with self work and thinking. Now, here's the last thing I'll say is like, from my independent study of the world that I live in and from the things that I've read or whatever, I've come to certain conclusions about how the world works, how money works, how our souls work, reincarnation, shit like this. I keep seeing this David Guillaume guy on Instagram and YouTube. And he teaches Kabbalah. Now, Kabbalah is teaching essentially Hermeticism. So it's like the things that I was learning and testing out in life. The Jews have Kabbalah, the Muslims have Sufism, the Christians had Gnostics and other secret societies that basically passed down this information from Hermeticism or whatever predated that. So there's always like a subsect of these main religions that tell you the truth, because the truth isn't for the masses. Most people aren't ready to wake up. This information is too hard for them, whatever. But if you are lost in your life, if you're looking for meaning, if you're looking for understanding how things work, if you're looking for a solution to your pain, you have to learn. There's no I went to breath work and then it's done. I did ayahuasca, then it's done. Like there's work to be done and you need to learn, you need to educate yourself. So Kabbalah classes, especially this dude has classes. I'm going to one tonight. It's my first time trying. Everything that I've heard aligns with what I think is the truth, what my experience has been. So I'm going to just see what it's like, see what they say. Like they basically say like you can donate money however much you feel, how much ever you can afford, whatever. There's no like, the church says give us 10%. Um, so pay when you can, if you can, however much you feel like, which I agree with. But I want to see if the people that are teaching it are have anything else they can teach me. If there are finally people that are on the path that I'm on that are further along in the path, have read more than I have experienced more than I have, and can share. So I'm always trying to learn. And you can learn from the people that haven't done the work yet also. You know what I mean? Like there's stuff to learn everywhere, but after being like starved and be constricted, and I could see how my dad was in his marriage basically, like with my parents. It's like I basically shied away. I wasn't myself, and I became closed off because the energy of the person was closed off. And you don't realize it's happening. And she kept looking at me like, "See, you're changing. See, you admitted it. See, it's you." Okay, I have no idea what's happening in their life, and I don't check on them. But I guarantee you, the main component is suffering, and it's not just because they like deserve to suffer, but because they have to suffer a lot more until they decide the suffering's enough and decide to change. That's just how it works, how it happened for me. And it'll be the best thing that ever happened to them. If they go broke, if the entire family went broke, it would be the best thing that happened. Because they're kind of relying on this antiquated thing of status is what's important. We have to look a certain way. It has to appear like we're happy and don't have any problems. Like, who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck? Who are these mystical people you're so worried about? The content of your character is all that you have. That's all that matters here. I'd rather a homeless person with a heart of gold than a fucking any fucking wealthy person at this point. What are we chasing? What are we doing? What are you after? It's like what a fucking waste of time worrying about this shit. I hope at some point you're embarrassed. Treating people like shit because you're above them. What the fuck is that? There's no such thing, you idiot. There's no such thing. Animals know better. Society is legitimately sick. Makes people sick. So at some point, you have to withdraw out of it to actually think and see clearly. You know how to know if you're brainwashed? Basically, anything that the masses are doing, you should do the opposite. I don't have an iPhone. Like everything they tell you to do, you should do the opposite. At least try it and see, because my life would be easier if I went back. You're more accepted. It's more socially acceptable. Who gives a fuck about that? So, when did that matter? Get all the acceptance you want. See, all the famous people are still fucking super empty. So, what are you gonna do? Good luck, dumbass. Fuck. All right, well, my predictions are, I think, will come true. I'm not sure what the timeline is. That's probably dependent on this person's karma and how much they have to learn. But um, in the meantime, I can't tell you how like my sleep got better. Like I gained weight. I I make money easy again. It's like, oh, negative energy is just fucking poison. It's fucking poison. Um, And again, it's like because I know it's not the person's fault. I mean, that's at the root of it. We're all innocent. We're all just cause and effect reacting. Until you wake up, you don't know that you're the biggest asshole that ever lived. So I did my best. Like God knows I did my best. And if I was malicious, if I was doing something incorrect, I'd be punished. And if I was doing something for God, if I was doing something for myself, if I was being selfless and I was doing something good in the universe, I'll be rewarded. So I guess we'll see, bitch. All right. I've got more work to do because things are going well. Not to brag or anything. Um, so I got to return some calls and then do some work. And then I have that class, and I'll work out, and everything's great. Finally, fuck. I like there was actually like relief in my chest. Hitting block was like, oh fuck, like finally. So thank you for giving me the excuse to get rid of you. Thank you for showing me that you're at the now the training wheels are off. Good luck. Hopefully, at some point, I hear how you figured it out and made it and grew. I hope that's what happens. That's what I think is going to happen at this point. We're finding out if free will is a thing or not. Free will to stay exactly where you are. Okay. See ya.